Hey guys, it's Friday, March 12th, 2021, and I'm back for Free App Fridays. For some reason, this is the second time I'm trying to do this stream. I lost everything just stopped streaming. I don't know what happened. My software was streaming. I think the site that I'm using to push the streams just wigged out. I don't know. Let's try this again. So, it's Friday, so it's time for Free App Fridays, guys. Today, well, before I say that, please remember to check out the video series on PC specs and how it affects music production. I have 6 parts up there. It's a 6-part series. We got one video on CPU, then RAM, hard drives, GPU, audio interface, and there's a short video on MIDI. Each topic has its own respective videos. The link is in the description for that playlist. In the playlist, you will find the old series that I did in 2015 and also the version that I just did for 2020. So check the dates based on which ones you want to see. I seem to be still streaming. All right, so good. So far, so good. All right, so the free app for this Friday, March 12th, 2021. is Surge. So Surge, it seems like the hype behind Vital from Mod12, which is another free synthesizer that does a lot of crazy digital synthesis type things. Vital came out in November of 2020 and has been a lot of hype. It was a very successful release. And people kind of forgot about Surge. Surge had an update, a pretty major update in January of this year, near the end of January. I want to say maybe it was the 25th or the 27th of January. One of those dates. They had a pretty major update. End of January 2021. So I just wanted to talk about this. I spoke about this one before, probably a year and a half ago, but I've never done it in a live setting. Seem to be still streaming. So with Surge, it does different types of synthesis. So it does FM, it does do ring modulation. I think it also does subtractive synthesis. It's very versatile, guys. There's a lot going on. It is an open source plugin, which makes it free. Open source also means that you have access to the main source code, and if you're into programming and stuff, you can grab the source code and do some programming. But based on what the developers are saying, they're pushing to be do more frequent updates, major updates, around 6-month increments. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's look at the interface really quickly. So with the interface, we have up here, this top section up here is your global section, global controls. Over here we see scene controls, which I'll talk a little bit more in detail a little bit later. And we have down here is where we have the oscillators. So within this section right here, where I'm moving my mouse, that's more like the controls for the generator and how the sounds are being generated and blending all the oscillators together. And then from here, over here is more about the toning and the shaping of the sound that's being generated from here. Over here on the side is your effects. So they have a lot of effects here. You have direct insert effects, and you can change up the way they're set up in serial. And you also have send effects. Also, you have 2 slots here for send effects. We'll look at that a little bit deeper a little bit later with some of the new updates that's in that specific section. And at the bottom here is where you do all the routing for your modulation to really get things moving and lively. So, looks like I'm still streaming. So far, so good. So, Hold on. Let me see something here. What's going on Twitch? All right, I seem to be still streaming. Okay, so moving right along. Yeah, so the bottom is modulation and routing. So at the top here where you have the oscillators, you have oscillator 1, 2, and 3. So they give you 3 oscillators. And down here you can select the different types of waveforms. So they have classic sawtooth, we have square wave, we have another sine wave down there. And down here we have wavetables. See, it changes to WT for wavetable. And you have like a whole new list now of wavetables. There's a lot of presets in here. That's one thing that's very cool about this free plugin, is that it has a lot of presets. I'll look at the overall sound presets a little bit later, but there's a lot of presets here just dealing with wavetables. So you can really poke around and get some things going. You can spend literally hours in this DAW just creating and shaping sounds. I've used it for sound design before. It's very, very helpful, very useful. I've had fun like creating kicks, snares, hi-hats, claps, 808s, and like some synth pads and super saws and stuff like that. So like I said, you have 3 oscillators here. So for each oscillator you can set up what your wave design is going to be here, which is going to affect the sound. Over here we have pitch bend depth. You can change this up and down. So 24 semitones or half steps is going to give you up to a 2-octave range when you bend up. And of course you can affect what the range is when you bend down, bend up, bend down. So it goes as high as 24, 2 octaves up. So you can adjust that for when you're messing around with your pitch wheel. All right, I'm still streaming. Over here we have FM routing. So depending on the presets, you can control how, right here, if you put it to no FM, you're not doing frequency modulation. Once you want to start doing frequency modulation, you change that. So you're using 2 to drive 1, 3 to drive 2 to drive 1, 2 to drive 1 to drive 3, or 2 and 3 is driving 1. So based on, you know, FM, if you don't know what FM is, look it up. Frequency modulation. It's a style of synthesis. So this is where the FM modulation section would come in. You turn that on. You have FM depth and all that fancy stuff. We got filter configuration here because they give you 2 filters, and you can blend between the filters and all that good stuff. Under here we have a lot of filters, presets, filter presets. They added some more filter presets. There's something from the OBDX and some other legacy devices. Down here we have a mixer, which is basically showing you the levels for oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3, and then we have ring modulation. If you're doing some ring modulation, you can affect the levels here. This fader on the end is for the noise levels. We have mute and solo buttons. We have overall gain. We have some more wave shaping over here, filters, and the ADSR for the filters. So over here with the oscillator, you can start to mess with the shape that you have there even after you put the shape in, and really play around with it. Even with something as, if you started with something as simple as a sine wave, you can start to play with and morph that shape. And then imagine if you modulate this, you get some interesting things going. So yeah, we talked about that. Okay. All right, let's look at this AB section. So the scene AB, what makes this so cool is everything we just messed with and I just showed you would just be dealing with scene A. So effects, everything under here. So if I switch to scene B, everything is independent of A, and now you have a whole nother set of parameters to go through. So now you have 3 more oscillators, and you can tweak and mess with filters and do all the crazy stuff. And this is one of the ways you can definitely get a super saw, super saw, and really layer your sound. I was building a snare, and I did like all these tweaks and settings in scene A, and I needed another layer of snare, because if you listen to a snare or a kick, the sounds can be a little bit more complicated than you think, because different parts of the sound are triggering a little bit some milliseconds later than the other, and if you layer it right, you can get some really interesting and realistic textures and tones. So I did most of what I needed in scene A, and I needed another layer of snare, and I was able to switch to scene B and then start dialing that in and then blending those two together to give me the snare sound that I was looking for while I was designing. So it is very flexible, very versatile. You get a lot of control and a lot of options. And we didn't even get to the effects yet. So let's look at the effects section. So with the effects section under here, what they added new, all your effects are here. So you got EQs, distortions, all different types of distortions, conditioners, frequency shifters, ring modulator, vocoder, chorus, flanger, phaser, rotary speaker, delay, reverb 1 and 2. And one of the new things they added was they added some plugins from Air Windows. Now Air Windows is this guy Chris, I forgot his last name. It's Chris something. But he designs these plugins and they're amazing. One of the things I'm scared to do talk about Air Windows plugins, because it's just so many free ones they have. I think it's like way over like 250 free plugins they have. But one day I might try to start diving into some of the ones that I use a lot. Their saturation plugins are pretty good, and it's one guy just cranking them out every 7 to 10 days. He'll post a video with some of the crazy stuff that he's working on. So I know, like with the tape stuff from Air Windows, one of the ones that I use in my plugin chain, my mastering plugin chain, is 2Tape, which is a tape emulator. And so there's Air Windows plugins now baked right in. That's one of the new updates. So yeah, I think that's all for the most part that I'm gonna go through for today with this. They have presets, like I said, tons and tons of factory presets, basses, brass, chords, corded instruments, I would say, effects, keys, leads. Oh, they also support MPE, so here's some MPE presets. If you don't know what MPE is, go look it up. I actually did a video on my channel about it. Just search it on my channel if you're interested, or just look up what is MPE. It's pretty fancy stuff. They got pads, percussions, plucks, polysynths, sequences, splits, templates, vocoders, winds, and then we have third-party like plugins, presets from other third-party developers and producers and stuff. So there's no shortage of presets here, guys, if you don't feel like tweaking and messing around with all that stuff. But you kind of get an idea. Down here is where you would do all your modulation and routing to modulate and get some of these parameters moving to add more movement and interest to your sound. Last but not least, down here we have the menu button where you can go into the settings. One of the things you could do is resize it. So you go to the zoom option. You have zoom 100%, which is kind of tiny. 150 is where I had it. And if once you set it to a size that you want, let's say I wanted it at 200, which is huge, you can go to zoom and say to set this at your default. Save 200 as default. So right now I have it at 179. I thought I put it at 200. Oh, my screen doesn't fit. 200. But I can set this as default. See, right now I have my default set to 150 zoom. So you can do that. And then the next thing is they have skins. So this is, I think, the original. No, this is actually the new skin, which is pretty cool. I'm probably going to start using that skin. Surge Classic, that's the original skin. Kind of dated. Kind of, sort of. Surge Dark is what we were just looking at. Skins. What is this? I don't like that. I see what they did there, but I don't like it. And then there's tutorial. I don't even know what. I'm not even gonna click on this. But there's a lot going on with this plugin. There's a lot of. I can feel the love and the detail that has been put into this plugin, and they're gonna continue to update and improve, which is always a good thing for us as producers. So if you're starting out and you're looking into getting into synthesis, which is a very, very in-depth topic and just like area to focus in on, you can just, you know, go all in and make tons of money just doing sound design for different things if you really get a full grasp and understanding of synthesis and the different types of synthesis. Surge is definitely a good one to really get started with. I would say Surge and also Vital. Vital gives you a little bit more visual feedback of what's going on. I really don't think Surge does that. Like when you're modulating parameters, I don't think you see much motion of what's being modulated, but it's still documented at the bottom. It shows you what's what, what's connected to what, what's driving what. So definitely check out Surge. You know where the link is. Go check it out, and check out the series, the video series on PC Specs and how it affects music production. The link is in the description for that also. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've been up since 3:30 a.m. I have some songs I'm writing, and it's been a grueling day. I got some more stuff down. I'm writing while I'm composing the song, so I'm composing and writing at the same time. It's fun. I actually like doing that sometimes. I feel like the production gels better because I'm writing some, composing, then writing, composing. It's interesting. It's an interesting workflow. So I'm gonna try and get back to that. I gotta lay down some drums, but it's coming together nicely. I really like where everything's going. But anyway, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Check back on Monday for Free App Mondays. Matter of fact, hold on. Are we still connected? Yeah, we're still connected. We're still streaming. It's Friday, right? So let's look at some things that dropped this week. There's no major news to talk about, is there? I don't think so. I don't think so. Plugin news, guys. Plugin news. How was your day, guys? My day was busy. Got a lot done. Woke up early. Got some work done. Went to the gym at 5 o'clock. Worked out for an hour and a half. Got back in the studio. Did some video editing. Did some music production. I'm stalling, guys. I'm stalling. I am stalling. So, what is the name of that site? I am blanking on this site. There's a site I'm looking for. There we go. I just remembered. It's late. My brain is trying to shut down on me, but yeah, so there's no real major plugin news. Anything? Nah. There's some new plugins that I found. I'm probably gonna talk about on Monday. Some piano and string stuff. But anyway, for this week, I'm just gonna go through these real quickly. There's a reverb called Sabrina Reverb. It's pretty standard stuff. Look at it. I'm not gonna go through it. This is what the image looks like. The link is in the description for that also. We got this other reverb called Yoin. It's a reverb with saturation and like bit crushing on it, which is very interesting because you can put some distortion and stuff on the reverb right within the plugin. So check that out. And Noh Snare. It's literally just a snare plugin. It gives you a live snare sample. They have a lot of velocity samples for that snare. And they also have, I think, like 8 different hits. So every time you hit, it's just one note. I think it's like D1 on your keyboard. And that's the only note that triggers the snare. That's it. It's just the snare. You got these 2 faders to supposedly blend between the top mic and the bottom mic. There's like a punch knob and they have like 8 different instances of the snare. So every time you hit, you're going to get a different variation based on the algorithm. It's never going to be the same hit. For the most part, it mixes it up so that it feels a little bit better like live, and you don't get that machine gun repetitive sound. So those were some of the notable new plugins for this week, right? Yeah. So now that's it, guys. Check back Monday for Free App Mondays. I'll be back. You'll see me in the next video. Bye, guys. Have a good night, and keep producing. Bye bye. I'm gone.